So let me show you how you can generate cash at the foreclosure auction with no money and no credit. But first, hey guys, it's Chris's partner Nathan Jurwitz, and I'm here to give you the second installment of a free mini course of how to generate cash at the foreclosure auction. In this video, I'm going to pull back that curtain even further and give you a list of all the tools you'll need in your toolbox to start generating cash immediately. I'm going to show you houses being purchased live in an actual online foreclosure auction. I will then walk you through exactly how a foreclosure auction bird dog can evolve into a passive cash investor. And then I'm even going to break down the type of avatar you are looking for that will end up being your passive cash investor that you will be working with. Now hold on, because before we get started, I just need to thank you. There have been close to 1,000 delightful, encouraging, and insightful comments about the first video that Chris and I put together, and I just want you to know that your words are absolutely the fuel in my tank, so thank you so much. If you haven't seen the first video, just look on the right side of this page and you'll see a link to video number 1. You should probably watch it first, and that link will take you right to it. Believe it or not, I read every comment, and noticed you had some pretty specific questions about buying homes at the foreclosure auction. So hey, I can help. So rather than me banter on and teach you in theory how to do this, I decided to take you out live in the field, and we're going to document a day in the life of one of the bird dogs that my partner Chris works with, Matt. You ready? Okay, let's get started. Yo, what's up guys? Nathan Jurwitz here. I'm here with auction bird dog mammoth ninja Matt from Lakeland.
How you doing?
What's going on, my man?
Just another day.
Yeah, so we're going to show you live, what's going down. It's December 1st today. We're going to go look at, you've gone through all the houses that are going to auction tomorrow, and you've got it narrowed down to 3
Correct.
Right now.
Yep.
And then you just work with, how many different investors do you work with?
Five or six main investors.
Main investors, okay. All right, well, rather than sit here and talk about nothing, we're going to get in the road and go look at them. So let's hop to it. Okay, so we're here with auction bird dog Matt, and we're driving to the first property. So Matt, talk about your your daily routine.
Typically, I'm fortunate on the county that I work in mainly. We actually have real auction, which everything is provided online.
Right.
So I can go directly online the day before what I'm going to buy, and cherry pick everything that I think my investors that I could flip to in a day would purchase.
Okay.
So basically, like these 3 are tomorrow, and I know I have at least three different guys that would buy in these areas.
Okay, awesome. And guys, just to make clear, like in his particular county, it is online. It's pretty easily accessible for him to get the information online. But in a lot of counties, it's going directly to the courthouse. Now, talk about what else do you have to have? What ingredients do you need to be prepared? Obviously you got to know like where you're going, right?
Basic ingredients. I mean, you have to have a GPS.
Yes, okay.
I mean, you definitely have to have that.
So we got a GPS, yeah. Unless you're just like a street ninja.
Yeah, unless you just know, your town really good.
Right.
But I always put everything in the GPS. It's also nice to have a laptop that you can have carry with you.
Okay.
And the main thing is you have to have your cash buyers.
Okay. And I know a lot of people may think that it's difficult to find cash buyers, but I guess you're working with, you said 5. McLaughlin is one of them.
Yep.
And I would think that when you talk to someone that has access to cash and you tell them that you buy at the foreclosure auction below market deals, their ears kind of perk up, I would imagine.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not, I mean, have you ever had a difficulty, a shortage of cash buyers?
No, because the deals that I bring, a lot of people with, they're in the 30s, 40 range.
Right.
And a lot of cash, a lot of people have that type of cash that I deal with.
Okay. And are you ever concerned that, oh, well, maybe, if I start to tell these cash buyers where I'm getting these deals from, they're just going to cut me out and go directly to the auction? It's kind of, this is a job for you, so you're providing a service to them, right? So that probably usually isn't an issue.
Yeah, well, the key to my job is the research. So I do recommend that you guys would get a title agent or someone. You need to put them on your team to research every single property before you buy it.
I've bought in several houses at the auction. I had a title woman that understood foreclosure auctions that could get title searches done in less than an hour, because you got to make a last split decision. So what happens, what's the ratio? So like, let's say there's 15, or let's just say there's 20 houses that are scheduled to go to auction in a day. You probably eliminate, 10 of them right away because they're not really good deals.
Right.
And then of the 10 that are, that may be potential in good areas, 5 of those get canceled.
Correct.
And then you got to narrow down to 5 more, and then 1 or 2 of them either get canceled, or there's something wrong with the title, or it's just not the right time. Like, you don't have a particular investor that is interested in a property in that area. And then usually every day, would you say you got it narrowed down to like 2 or 3 that you're like, okay, these are properties I'm going to bid on?
Yes.
And then
typically averages about 2 to 3.
Okay. And then you don't necessarily get one every day, but you're doing, how many of these are you picking up a week?
On the average, I could probably say I'm doing about 3 a week.
3 a week. So almost a little bit more than every other day. One day you don't get one, you get outbid, or maybe they all get canceled for whatever reason, and one day that they do. So, well, guys, what happened was a lot of times, you may hear this, the auction used to not really be a deal at all because the banks were just taking them back as REOs and selling them. Now, some banks, still do that, but a lot of banks that need the money now are going to are just discounting the note at the auction, and those are the deals we're looking at. Okay, so what's the first property we're going to?
First property is 435 Lucille, which is in Bartow in Polk County. It's a little 3-bedroom, 1-bath, perfect rental though, and I think we can probably, if we can pick this up in the 30s. We have a potential of making about $5,000 to $8,000 on it. $5,000 to $8,000. Okay, awesome. All right, well, let's head to the property.
Okay, we're here at the first house here with Matt. Matt, what's the address of this house?
This is 435 Lucille, Bartow.
435 Lucille, Bartow. Okay, let's go walk up to the front. Any red flags that would, anything that would cause you to not bid on this house? Anything you see on here that's...
Nothing yet, no. I'm going to peek through the windows, though, and take a look on the inside.
Okay. Now, because we're not actually able to go inside the house and inspect the house, you guys want to make sure that, typically the deals at the auction, as long as you're buying right, are so cheap that even if something unforeseen were to came across, it wouldn't even matter. Your investor isn't going to lose money, you're not going to lose money.
We're going to buy it low enough to where, I can factor in some rehab also.
Right, okay. So as long, it appears that it's a block home, which is good. The house is, not burnt down, which is a definite plus. And then, now some investors will actually just break into the house. Is that...
I don't recommend breaking into the house, guys. No.
Okay.
But this house is vacant, and that's why I can, I know it's vacant. That's why I'm peeking in the windows. Obviously, if there was someone living here, if there's a car in the driveway, you want to be skeptical about walking on the property.
Right. Okay. And then some of the houses are actually listed on the MLS the day before the day of the auction.
Yep.
Because the realtors were trying to do a short sale, and that wasn't working. And sometimes the realtors don't even realize it's going to auction because the homeowner's getting served and they never open up any of their mail.
Right.
Because they're in what I call pre-foreclosure shutdown mode.
Yeah.
So they're not doing anything. So I've done deals. I had this one deal that I did where I actually called the listing agent that had it listed the day of auction, asked her if she had a buyer. She said she did, and it was like $225,000, and I went and bought the house for $185,000.
Nice.
It was in New Tampa, so it was like brand new, and I never even looked at the house. And after all closing costs and paying her a commission and everything, I worked out a deal so that I bought it and then sold it to her cash buyer in a month and made like $25,000 profit.
Nice.
So, all right. Anything else before we move on to the next one?
No, this is a clean deal. Looks like we're going to make some money on this one if it goes low enough.
Okay. All right. On to the next one.
So, most of these houses that I drive to are always vacant, but a few times there's actually people living in it, so I'll do a few drive-bys, and sometimes I'll catch them out front, and I'll just pop up a conversation, and start talking to them about their house. We'll say, hey, you guys are in trouble, is there anything I can do to help? It's going tomorrow, and sometimes they'll even let me walk in the house and do a preview. Do I recommend it? I don't know. If you can persuade them into doing it, more luck to you.
Probably, I mean, what would you say, 80-90% of them are usually vacant anyways, though?
80 to 90% of them are usually vacant, yes. And you can tell if they're vacant because the grass is way high. Sometimes the properties are winterized, so they'll have that sticker on the door. Here's another key thing to look for, guys. Whenever you go past the property and you can tell that the deadbolt doesn't match the bottom lock because the bank has winterized it. So if you're driving by, you can look at the deadbolt to the bottom lock, and sometimes if they don't match colors, they'll have like a silver deadbolt but a gold door handle. So there's another way to know that it might be vacant.
Right. So the bank will actually change the locks before they even own it, because I think in the terms in their mortgage says that they have the right to do that to protect their asset.
For abandonment, yeah. Right. It's usually like a 15-day abandonment.
All right. Okay, well, on to the next house. Okay, so we're at house number 2. It's actually not a house, it's actually a duplex, right?
This is a duplex, yes.
Okay. And, you know, from what I can tell, it looks like everything here, all the neighbors, these are all duplexes. They all have 2 doors in the front. So, anything to look out for here?
Well, you can see that there's a tarp on the roof, so it might need a new roof. Obviously it's vacant, so let's go peek at the windows.
Okay. Now, because it's a duplex, I mean, how easy is it going to be to find an investor that's going to want to buy a duplex?
Very easy. I'll have several investors for this particular property. Not even my top 5. This broadens it up to about 10, 15.
Okay.
And the ceilings actually look pretty good. It's definitely vacant. Needs new carpet. Let's go to the other half. This one actually has fresh paint on it with a new hot water heater. So there's barely any rehab to this. You know, it's a duplex, it's going to be a rental. You barely put any rehab into this, and it'll be able to sell like that.
And even if one of your core buyers didn't buy it, you could literally probably just look up names of the neighbors.
Oh, absolutely. This particular home right here,
yep.
This duplex, an investor actually already bought that and is in the process of rehabbing it. So I could actually probably flip it to him already. In that, you know, right after I buy it from the auction.
Okay, so where are we going next?
The next property is on a street called Lowry. It's over by a college in Lakeland.
In Lakeland, okay.
Yep.
All right, cool. Here we go.
Nate, you were asking me before what other real estate that I've done. You know, and I've always been, you know, buying and selling houses. You know, got into the short sale business, but you know, it just took so long to get to work the deal. So, you know, then my father actually brought the idea to me. Let's start doing some stuff down at the auction and flip them to investors. And the first deal we did it in a day. And ever since then, you know, we've been doing about, you know, three a week plus, you know, and I absolutely love my job. I mean, there's nothing I'd rather do. I mean, all I do is drive around, look at houses, and flipping to investors. I'm in and out. I don't have to do any rehab or anything. It's great. Hey guys, this is just another way of telling if a house is vacant or not. The electric box is cocked, so there's no power, nothing's spinning. So typically, you know, 100% of the time, these houses are vacant when the power's shut off.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
This particular house is one that I've already talked to Chris about. This is his area, so I know for a fact that he would buy this at the right price.
Okay.
2-car garage. I mean, the house is clean, just on the outside. You know, it looks like there's little rehab to even probably do on the inside.
And it's a nice neighborhood too, near a college.
Yeah, actually, it's walking distance from a college, so you can get the kids. Their parents will pay the rent. So it's a great place to invest. So I you know, if not Chris would buy this, I know another guy would buy it anyways. So.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, let's. So this really concludes everything. So all we got to do now is tomorrow go and bid online, and we will show you guys that live. So we'll see you guys tomorrow.
So guys, I know a lot of people here, okay, I got to have a buyer's list. You're immediately thinking, I got to have 100, 200, even 1,000 buyers. But, you know, he's working with 5 really strong buyers, and that's literally able enough to keep him busy doing this full time.
Oh, extremely busy.
Extremely. Yeah, these are real players he's dealing with.
Every day I can buy a house just with the 5 guys that I have every single day.
Right.
All right. So right now I have the high bid on this duplex at $20,000. The high bid actually is $18,600. My proxy bid is $20,000. So I own this property right now for $18,600. Right now, I'm going to be the owner of a duplex. Well, not anymore. Someone just bid me up to 19.1. But essentially, I'm going to be the owner of a duplex for $9,000, $10,000 aside. I'm not in the rental business, but I could flip that to an investor today and let him do all the rehab, let him pay it off, and I just collect my bird dog fee for doing the research, doing the run around, and
we have a 24-hour window to do that.
Correct.
Yep.
We don't have to pay it off till tomorrow at 12.
And of course, you could use your own cash to pay it off, not the investors, and then you could take 9, 10 days, or however long you needed to turn around
and I could retail it,
wholesale it, yeah, or you could retail it as well. Yep.
Someone's definitely
someone's on to this.
I'm going to go ahead and put in a bid for 21, so it looks like the bank is still going against them. Some people, I just got outbid, guys. So it's 21, my maximum bid. You do not have the high bid, so let's go here. Let's do 23. And that's about, I'm almost at my stopping point.
What do you think? Are you going to sell this to Chris or to someone else?
I'll give Chris the opportunity if he would like it, but I present Chris everything. I send his guy that goes and looks to his houses. I give him the first shot, and if he passes on it, then I'll go to my other investors.
Okay, real quick, I wanted to make sure you were paying attention to what Matt just said. He positions himself with all of his investors as if he is doing them a favor by allowing them to get first dibs on these deals. Remember, they need you more than you need them. Okay, now let's continue.
So we're at 22.6. My max bid is 23,000. What I'll do is I'll let him go up to 23.1, and then I'll wait until there's like 10 seconds left, and then I'll put my bid in.
Okay.
But I'm almost to my stopping point right here anyways. So he's up to 23, but I still have the high bid. So he's doing the same thing. When it goes down to 10 seconds, watch, he'll probably put in 23.5. By the way, this is a fun too. This is a fun job. So there's 23.1. So let's do this.
And we're going to show everyone at the end how to.
Do not have the high bid. Okay.
Actually, he's.
Let's go to. Let's just do this. Let's just go to. Again, I'm selling myself right here because I'm keep on bumping myself. 20. That in my head was the top figure right there. Let's see how bad he really wants it. We're slowing down because he's only bidding at $100 increments right now.
Hopefully his computer just crashes.
That would be a wonderful
nice,
thing.
But again, folks, if you look at the math on this, now give us the title work on Oak. Is it a pretty clean title?
Clean deal.
Okay.
Clean deal.
Clean deal.
Just the first mortgage is getting foreclosed on. It looks like I'm going to own this one for 20. Well, never mind, guys. Every time I say that, I'm jinxing myself. See how the time starts over? You go right back up to a minute.
Yeah.
This is definitely a seasoned investor that keeps on doing the last 10-second thing. I can promise you that.
So what can you assign this to someone for with doing absolutely nothing, you think?
$5,000 probably. $5,000 is probably the max on it. I keep on going up, guys. Whoops.
So now, Matt, tell us your strategy here. Are you going to?
I'm just trying to make it look like the bank. Or obviously, he knows he's already won a bid, so that strategy's out the door. Now it's just who wants it more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make him think that he's going to get this house, and then I'll do what he's doing to me. All right, so we're at 27,000 is where this guy that I'm bidding against thinks he's going to get it. Well, we'll let the time go down a little bit, and then I'll put in 27.1.
So, Matt, it looks like he's still having some fun with you. And you might own this at 27.5, it looks like.
Oh, no, I'm not going to jinx myself again.
Right. Maybe he knows you're recording this today. Okay.
All right.
So you buy.
I want it.
Okay, so he won that one. That's one down and just two more to go. And just an FYI, he ended up selling this property for a $3,000 assignment fee to another investor in Lakeland. Not a home run by any means, but remember, he didn't have to do any more work to the property at all. If you do just a couple of these a week, you can see how this can quickly add up.
Somebody's already bid 39.1, okay? So it looks like maybe the bank's already outbid them. They probably put in 39,000. The bank wins 39.1, which we will go higher than that.
Yeah, what's the game plan? What do you want to get this for and assign it to Chris for?
I'd like to get this house for somewhere in the mid-40s, mid to high 40s, stopping right around in there. Let's put a bid in real quick of 42 and see if the bank just outbids me real fast. You do not have the high bid, and I'm already up to 42.1.
So it could be just simply the judgment is just simply too high, and this will go back to the bank.
Correct.
What's probably happened here is that somebody put a proxy bid in for 39,000. The bank came immediately back at 39.1.
Right.
We went in at 42.1, which was still below what the bank's willing to go for their high bid.
Okay. So it's still, right now it looks like this just wouldn't necessarily meet my criteria.
Yeah.
Unless, now how much work does it need? Or
Not much. Not much. Paint carpet.
Okay.
Maybe some appliances, but it's intact. I'll let some time go by. Let's just put one more in and see if we can get it there. Yeah, we're going to stop there.
So essentially this looks like most likely it's just going to go back to the bank for perhaps 60, well, who knows, their judgment amounts to 168, so we just don't know what it'll go back at.
I had the same guy that was bidding against me before bid on it. Went back to the bank.
Okay, so you see what just happened there? The bank didn't drop their bid, so no one purchased it. This happens, but it's part of the business. Chris really wanted that property too. Oh well, on to the next one.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my proxy bid in for the next deal. Do my check marks. Now I'm going to do a 33.6. Let me confirm that. All right, I've got it now.
Already? Oh.
So let's see if someone's going to outbid me. Somebody actually already was at 33.5, so someone is probably going to bid against me.
Now tell us about this property.
This property is in an area. Actually, you own a couple homes in the area. It's right by. It's in Bartow. It's in a lower income neighborhood, but it's in a approved USDA area. So
you can sell it to an end buyer with 100% finance.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
That's why I like buying in this area. Let's see if he's going to play the same games. We'll get down to 10 seconds.
And what do you
Looks
what
like
did you say you could? What do you think you could assign this for?
I know, probably assign this one maybe $5,000. I mean, again, you got it. Every scenario is different. Every buyer is different. But there's room in there for $5,000 easily.
Right.
Okay, let's just go to, if you're not going to build on that, let's just take a look and show everybody how you buy it.
All right, let's scroll up. We'll go to bid history. Looks like, let's see here, after close, the same guy tried to put in the bid, but he was too late.
Oh, so he was going to play with you.
He was going to play with me, but he was just too late. He put in 33.6. So, but too late. So, looks like I was the only really bidder during the actual time frame, and I got a really good home for that price, to tell you the truth. So, guys, today I've bought 33,000. Let's just say 35,000 and 30,000. I bought a duplex and a 3-1 block home for $60,000 today. I'm going to make some money today, from some of my my strong investors that I have.
And boom, Matt actually turned this one over to Chris for a $3,000 assignment fee. Again, not a home run, but $6,000 for a day's work will pay the bills. And you can see why it's completely worth it for someone like Chris to pay Matt for all this research. Okay, so let's review. Make sure you have access to a navigation system, access to the list from the courthouse or a third-party service, a title agent that can get a search done in less than an hour, and of course cash or a passive cash buyer. I'll talk more about this in a few minutes, but first let me talk about the importance of clean title. In the first video, Chris went over the timeline of the foreclosure. Homeowner default, then the bank files a notice, then depending on the state, it's on its way to foreclosure. But you see, you have to remember when you bid on the property at auction, there's no title insurance, and sometimes the bank doesn't include all of the liens in the case like they should. This happens more often than you would think. Say for example you have a first mortgage doing the foreclosure and then a second mortgage attached to the property that was never included in the case. In that case, it would not get wiped out at the auction, which means you are going to have to deal with that lien. Another situation you have to watch out for is when the second mortgage is the one doing the foreclosure. If you bid on this property, you have to take over the first subject too. There have been cases where amateurs who didn't do their research were bidding on this second mortgage thinking that it was the first. That's a definite no-no. Now, I don't want to scare anyone, and as long as you get a title search done, you should be fine, but I wanted to make sure that you were aware of the risk. This is one of the main reasons that passive cash buyers need bird dogs just like you, because they don't have the time to do all of this background history on every single deal. Okay, so back to the auction. When you are ready to bid on the property, whether it's online or live in an actual location, the mortgages that are over leveraged, which nowadays is most of them, will often discount the note at auction. In auction terms, this is called a drop bid. In some cases, in certain states like California, the bank will let everyone bid, and if no one meets their reserve, the auctioneer will call the bank and tell them what the bidding got up to, and the bank will then make their call at that time as to whether they are going to let it go for that price or not. In other cases, the bank's representative will just tell you before the auction starts what the reserve is. Now, some banks discount more than others, and some banks almost never discount. And knowing which of these banks will and will not discount can literally cut your research time by 75%, so you don't waste time researching deals with unmotivated mortgage companies. You still with me? Okay, great. Now once you bid on the property and you win the bid, all you have to do is wait in a certain time frame before you can get what's called a certificate of title to you or to your cash investor. This time frame is called a redemption period, and it varies depending on your state from anywhere between 10 days like Florida to 6 months like Minnesota or Michigan. During this time period, if the original homeowner pays off the whole balance of their loan, they can redeem their house and you get all of your money back, although this almost never happens. If you're in one of those long redemption period states and you're thinking, how am I going to make money if my investor has to wait that long to get clear title? Don't worry. There is an alternative strategy that me and Chris cover in our program that will allow you to still make cash immediately with no money and no credit. There is a little bit more upfront legwork for this method, however, you don't even need to have a cash buyer at all, and the spreads are 10 times as big in some cases. Now, once the redemption period has passed, you or your investors get the deeds of the property, and they can do whatever they want with it. Okay, so now I'm going to address all of the skeptics out there. Come on, you know who you are. You're watching this video and saying to yourself, Nathan, this doesn't work in my state, or Nathan, the banks don't discount notes in my area, or Nathan, how the heck am I going to make money when I live in Michigan and my redemption period is 6 months long? And don't forget, Nathan, I know a cash buyer and there's no way he would pay me a bird dog fee when he can just go to the auction himself. Now I knew you would say this.
Heck, some of those thoughts even crept in my head when Chris and I started researching this. So that's when we decided to pull out all the stops and utilize all of our resources by reaching out to every investor, real estate guru, and real estate agent we know all across the country to find out if they knew anyone doing this strategy. In every single case, we were able to track one down. We asked them if we could pick their brain for a recorded interview. Now, I'll be honest, there was a lot of drawback in some cases where they didn't want to talk to us, especially on a recorded interview. Like, for example, my partner Chris even got this email from a bird dog in Arizona that said, most of the people in Arizona that I know would not be willing to divulge much in the way of information specific to their markets, nor for the most part do they want to be identified. But because we were able to track down multiple people in all the major foreclosure states, and most of these guys knew that, well, if I don't do it, someone else will, and I promised them that I would limit the amount of people that this information went out to, I was finally able to get most of them to agree to spill the beans. We were able to find out some very interesting information. I'm going to share with you some tidbits of some of those recordings, but keep in mind they requested that they remain anonymous for this free video. Here's what one bird dog from Las Vegas had to say about prices on condos at the foreclosure auction in Nevada.
What are your thoughts on condos in Nevada right now?
We've been able to go in and pick up a condo for him for $28,000 and then turn around and put it on the market at $40,000. And then we get a cash offer, which is funny to me. You know, it's just a week or 2 weeks later, we got a full price cash offer.
And what kind of square footage in a year would a condo like that typically be?
In the low 30s, you could buy a condo that was built in, 98 to 2000.
Serious? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
$28,000, guys. That blew me away. I guess in Vegas there are just so many newer cookie-cutter properties going to auction that has driven the prices down so cheap. Now here's a comment from what one bird dog from California had to say about newer investors coming to bid in California.
I'm telling you, a lot of the old-time investors, they don't want the young guys to go in there, and I've heard it exactly from them.
Guys, he wouldn't be saying this unless there were deals to be had at the California foreclosure auction. Now here's what another bird dog from Arizona had to say about the number of wholesaler bird dogs in his territory.
I really only know of 3 or 4 wholesalers that are really pushing to make some wholesale deals and asking me for inventory. So there's not, there's definitely room for that in Arizona. I mean, there's room for that. It's not like a super popular thing that I noticed that jumps out at me, Chris.
Very interesting that he would actually admit that. See guys, plenty of deals for you to be had at the foreclosure auction. However, like I said before, I had to convince these bird dogs to spill the beans by limiting the amount of people that the program that me and Chris have put together would go out to.
So hopefully that cleared up any objections from you skeptics out there. Like it or not, there are people doing this all over the country. I still haven't, however, addressed why you may think the cash buyer you may know would never pay you a bird dog fee when they can just go to the auction themselves.
Well, let's first talk about how someone evolves into becoming a passive cash investor. Remember, most of these people were not born with a silver spoon in their mouth. A lot of them started out with a regular job and then got involved in real estate, marketing, or the stock market or something. Maybe they got involved in a startup or something like that. But the point is that most of them understand that their time is their most valuable asset. Let me show you an example. We will use the profession of a real estate bird dog since we're on the subject. He may have started out as an auction bird dogging houses for just 1 or 2 investors for something like a $2,000 bird dog fee. But as things progress and he gets a much better feeling for the market and what he can wholesale properties for, he expands. He starts working with more cash buyers and bidding on his own, and then letting his cash buyers fight over who wants the house for the larger assignment fee, like $5,000, $10,000, or even $15,000. He then starts building up a cash reserve so he can now buy, rehab, and flip his own deals for $20,000, $30,000, or even $50,000 or more profit margins. As time goes by, he starts to hold on to property and realize that his wealth has shot through the roof. And going to the auction, doing research, and bidding is not the best use of his time anymore. So then he decides to find someone else that can do this for him.
So you may be watching this video thinking, I'm the bird dog, I need cash now. But you also may be thinking,
I'm an investor and I want to find a bird dog that can do this for me. And some of you visionary folks out there are thinking, I'm the bird dog now, but eventually I want to build up to become a passive cash investor later. Either way, I can help you achieve that goal. Now, some of you are still not thinking any of those things, and you're still hung up on, well, yeah, but I spoke to one investor and he won't pay me to go to the auction because he told me he can just go do it himself. Well, here's why.
It's because you haven't chosen your passive cash investor avatar properly. No, not that avatar. I'm talking about the demographic, mindset, and personality of the cash investor you are marketing to. Let me show you what I mean. Meet investor Safe Sam. Safe Sam has plenty of cash. He still has the same savings account that his parents gave him when he was 6, and he keeps most of his money in conservative investments such as CDs that give him a small but safe return. Sam drives a Volvo, he has a collection of bright orange clothing, and although he has plenty of cash, the thought of making a split decision on real estate transactions for a house that he hasn't even seen gives him the heebie-jeebies. Sam is not the cash investor you are looking for. Now let's meet Greedy Gordon. Greedy Gordon has plenty of cash and isn't too concerned with taking the risk, but the thought of sharing anything with anyone makes his neck hair stand straight up. He never understood the concept time is money, and although his net worth is $250,000 or more, he still mows his own lawn. He is obsessed with which gas station has the cheapest gas for his clunker 1987 Ford Escort, and he has no friends. Greedy Gordon is definitely not the cash investor that would be okay with paying you a fee to do this research for him. Now let's look at Outsource It Aussie. Outsource It Aussie enjoys living dangerously. He is a self-made millionaire and failed at 7 different businesses before striking it big. His favorite book is The 4-Hour Workweek, and he looks up to guys like Donald Trump and Warren Buffett. He's no idiot and doesn't do stupid things with his money. At least not anymore. But he does understand the risk involved in business and isn't afraid to take a loss. The thought of buying homes at the foreclosure auction never even occurred to him, but when this one guy walked up to him, told him he would find him houses at 60 cents on the dollar at the foreclosure auction, and he would do all of the work if he just paid him a small fee, he was blown away and immediately wanted to know more.
And guys, this is the type of person that you want to be working with. Do you see my point? Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and it was very informative. Do me a favor and comment below this video with any comments or questions you may have, because in the next video, Chris, myself, and another bird dog friend of ours that you haven't heard from yet will be going over all of your most commonly asked questions and explain how anyone can do this with no money, not even a deposit. So stay tuned, and I will see you again in a couple days.